always knew I wanted to be a photographer, but I always thought that it would be a hobby. And while I was pursuing the medical arts, I was in medical school and realized it's not where my heart lied and that my passion was with photography. So I decided to change careers and I left medical school and became a photographer. I had been reading a book, actually, that a photographer friend of mine recommended called The Artist's Way. And it talked about a lot of doctors and lawyers who were pushed into it because their parents wanted them to be successful and how miserable they were 30 years down the road as doctors and lawyers and how they always wanted to be artists. And after reading these stories, I realized that was going to be me. So one night I was reading more of these stories, decided that I knew what I had to do, and the next day I went into medical school and told the dean that I would be dropping out.
So you took the risk, right?
I did, and quite a risk it was. I was trained originally as a biologist and a chemist.
Okay.
So at the time that I dropped out of medical school, I only had taken 2 photography classes, but I knew it was what I wanted to do, and several years later, here we are.
So you've been in the Olympics, right? In the Special Olympics.
Well, I truly believe that everyone has a story and everyone deserves to have that story told. And a picture says 1,000 words, and when you can give somebody that photograph of themselves doing something, when you show somebody you care about what they're doing, it means more than words can say. And as a photographer, I believe strongly in giving back, and the best way for me to do that is with my images. So I had worked with Special Olympics for many, many years as a photographer and various other nonprofit organizations, with medical organizations, working with the homeless, with women in distress, and now with Shake a Leg Miami, hopefully using my imagery to make a difference in somebody's life.
You tell about like the photography, that there's an untold story behind.
I think that not only do people have a story, but images have a story as well, and structures have a story to be told. So with this image, I try to tell the story of the house. This house, to me, is proud and strong, and it may not necessarily at this time be in the best shape, but it has knowledge, it has wisdom, much like a tree, much like an elder statesman, and I wanted that strength and wisdom and power to come through in the image. This is the first project I've worked on with Shake a Leg, but over the past 6 months working with them, I can't imagine not continuing to work with them. They're such an amazing organization that makes such a great difference in the community at large.
How you decided to come to these little houses? Tell me about that.
Sure. I've always been interested in the water. I'm a scuba diver, I'm a surfer, so a lot of my images initially centered around the water. And I had found out about Shake a Leg Miami and the Stiltsville Trust, went out, took a look at the houses and realized they would be perfect for my painting with light in the dark technique.